Good evening, and welcome to the June edition of On Cable Tonight. Thank you for joining us at the Women's Foundation's On Cable Tonight show, where we have an opportunity to invite guests to talk about the great things that are going on in the Memphis community. The mission of the Women's Foundation, I should start out by saying my name is Shante Avant, and I am the Deputy Director of the Women's Foundation for a Greater Memphis. The mission of the Women's Foundation is to foster leadership and encourage philanthropy and support programs that help women and children reach their economic self-sufficiency. Tonight, I have two guests with me that I am so happy to have. First is Lori Bramlett, who is the Executive Director of DeNeuville Learning Center for Women. Welcome, Lori.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm glad to have you. And then we have Karen Ray, who's the Executive Director of the Collierville Literacy Council. Welcome, Karen.
Thank you.
Well, I'm really happy to have the both of you here tonight to talk about some of the great things that you're doing within your organizations. And I'm really excited for us to be able to share how there's a connection between what you're doing at your organization, Lori, and what you're doing at your organization, Karen, and that people can see that the investment of their dollars with the Women's Foundation are going to great use.
Absolutely.
Since 1996, the Women's Foundation has granted $13.7 million into this community. $6.6 million of those dollars have gone to core grant making, and $7.6 million has gone to community partnerships and initiatives called our Memphis Hope Project. But we are really excited when we have an opportunity to share what great things grantee partners like you are doing. And so I'm going to ask a few questions about what your programs do and make sure that people understand the mission and focus of your organizations and how they can find out more about getting involved.
Great.
So, Lori, you are new to DeNeuville Learning Center.
I am. I have been on staff since January.
January of this year.
Yes.
So it's a big task, but such rewarding work.
Absolutely. It is a big task, but we are doing wonderful things at DeNeuville Learning Center, in large part because of the funding we receive through the Women's Foundation, and I'm honored to be a part of DeNeuville Learning Center. It's a blessing to me.
Well, tell us a little bit about the mission of DeNeuville Learning Center.
Absolutely. Our mission is to empower women to improve their lives through education and community. And we do that really by offering a holistic, individualized approach at our programming. We work with each individual student to help them achieve their educational goals and help them improve their overall self-esteem and self-worth. So we really try to take an approach with our students to support them and help them mind, body, and soul.
So when you decided to take this position in January, I guess you got to meet some of the women that are being impacted by the program. What are some of the classes that they are able to take at DeNeuville Learning Center?
Well, we offer a wide array of various programming and classes. Our GED program we offer in both English and Spanish. Mm-hmm. We have an ESL program. We have a citizenship preparation program. We have computer studies that we offer for our women. And then in addition to that, we offer enrichment skills-based classes as we can in workshops. Those would include flower arranging, cake decorating, jewelry making, anything that we are able to provide our students that may either give them a skill that they can use for future employment or career, or just as, again, gives them that motivation, that self-empowerment of being able to accomplish something and having something that they can be proud of.
Well, when you mentioned the flower arranging, I thought, well, it may not seem to others that would be necessarily a skill that women would need, but many of the women that you serve are not necessarily from the United States.
Exactly.
You have a lot of refugee women who are a part of your program, and so it's small things like that that really nurture a woman and bringing her full circle into the community, which I think DeNeuville does a really great job at. So tell me a little bit about the demographics of the women who come to DeNeuville.
Well, as you mentioned, we do have a large Group of women from countries outside of the United States. We have over 32 different countries represented in our student demographics. About 60% of our women are Latina. We have about 35% of our women are African American or Black. And then we have about 4% of our women who are Asian. And so we really do try to embrace different cultures and celebrate the diversity of our students. And so we always encourage our students to, whenever we have celebrations, you know, they'll bring in food from their cultures or share different stories about their experiences. And that's just one of the wonderful things. And as you mentioned, some of the skills-based classes we offer, it does help women with self-empowerment and potential jobs with flower arranging. You know, they can go to a flower shop and become an assistant, or another area that has been very helpful is our sewing class. So a lot of these women are able to use that as a cost-effective mechanism. They can alter their children's clothing and then do the same thing for some of the neighborhood children and make a little extra money. So we really try to work with the various challenges and opportunities that each student has and create a program that is going to work for them.
Mm-hmm. So the GED, pre-GED and GED training, tutoring and prep is what we have funded for DeNeuville Learning Center for many years.
Yes, ma'am. And
so we know that having a high school diploma or the equivalency exam is really a first step for many women on their journey to self-sufficiency.
Absolutely. So
that they can get a job, so that they can then have either job training, hopefully to be able to make a living wage, and that's, you know, our hope. And that's our hope when we fund programs, is really that we're funding programs that help women get to the point that they're able to make a living wage. They can care for themselves and their families. And so the GED prep and training that you do is oftentimes, we know, just a small carrot to helping women be involved in programs, other aspects of your program.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we see that time after time, that many of the women enrolled in our GED programs, whether it's in the English program or the Spanish program, will come back once they get their GED and take computer classes or take the ESL classes if they've gone through the Spanish version. Some of them have even come back to take the sewing classes. That's a big class for us. So it is amazing to see how much of an impact it makes. And so many of our women tell us that a large part of the benefit of it is that they have that education and they can be proud of that for their children, and they can help their children with their homework and break that cycle that maybe has existed in their family of education not being as important as it should be.
Mm-hmm. Well, we are so excited to have you as a new grantee partner of the Women's Foundation. This was the first time that we funded your program, but there was such a need, we thought, in what you were offering and how you were filling this huge gap that had for women once they had received GED tutoring and training, that they were able to then go on to take their test. It's really preparation ultimately for them to be able to take the test. So it leads us right into what you do at Collierville Literacy Council. So tell us a little bit about your mission of your organization.
Well, our GED program is just part of what we do. We also have English as a second language and adult literacy. And of course, what the Women's Foundation funded for us was to increase the capacity that we had to provide more GED tests because we knew there was going to be such a high demand this year. Our services are provided through volunteer tutors that work one-on-one with students. We have very few classes, and the few that we have are very small, maybe 2 or 3 students, and those are usually the English as a second language, where the conversation back and forth is so important. But we have definitely seen that increase that we expected in the GED program. We just had a GED test we actually turned it into 2 days of testing instead of just 1 day, and we had over 30 people testing the first day and over 50 the second day. So that was a nice large group to be able to test.
And when you say with changes that were expected, maybe we should talk a little bit about why there's such a high volume of folks who are getting tested now. There are some changes that are coming pike on a national scale, and that will be affecting us individually on a state level, I'm assuming, and that's the testing for a GED.
Yes.
Do you want to tell a little bit about that, Karen?
Sure. The current GED test series that's been going on since 2002 is going to change after 2013. And some of the changes that will occur with when the new test is rolled out in 2014 is it will only be offered on computer. They've told us that the cost to students will be $120, where now they're paying probably $55 or $65 per test. The new test will, instead of being almost all multiple choice, will include a lot of short answers and a lot of fill in the blank. So it's a change in the formatting. So those are some changes that are going to impact especially our older students that are coming back, that maybe their children have gotten a little older and now they've got some time to be able to come and get their GED, but the computer skills aren't there, and so it would be really difficult to write an essay, type in 5-paragraph essay.
So when we're talking about these changes, currently if there's 3 different parts to the GED test?
There are actually five different subject areas.
Okay, and those 5 different sections are?
Social studies, science, language arts reading, which is sort of literature, language arts writing, and math.
Okay, and currently if we know that for a lot of the women who are served by both your program and your program, that they may come in and take the test and may pass maybe the reading or the language arts and may need to retake in order to pass the math. Will they be able to carry some of those subjects or those sections that they passed currently? Will they be able to carry those into 2014?
No.
Not for the GED test. No. In the past, it has carried over from year to year, as long as you're in the same test series. But that will not be possible with the change in the GED.
And so because this is a national change, I guess, will need to brace ourselves that many people, I guess, speaking about the increase in the number of folks who are being tested is because they won't be able to carry over those series that they passed in the past. So it will be brand new. So if you're needing to take, if you've passed English, language arts for this year, but you still need to take the math and reading and the others, you will have to retake all 5 sections in 2014.
None of the scores will carry over.
Okay.
And that's why in some ways it's good, because it's given people that little bit of push that have maybe procrastinated to not complete their GED. So it's nice to see those people finishing that out and moving on to the next step in their life. But you can only take each section of the GED test 3 times within a year. And so there's a lot of strategy involved now in figuring out you don't want anyone to test before they've got a really good chance of passing.
So that's why it's very important what you do on an individual and small group basis and prepare them to take the test so that they will have a higher chance of passing it when they actually take the test.
Yes.
So your program both offer the GED prep and tutoring. And are there multiple places that people can take their actual test when it's time for them or when they're prepared and ready?
It's very limited.
Yes, there are 3 locations in Shelby County.
Okay.
Airways Boulevard, Southwest Tennessee Community College, the Macon Cove campus, and in Collierville. Now, you don't have to stay in Shelby County to test. You just have to stay in Tennessee.
Okay.
So the Fayette County Adult Literacy Program, Tipton, there are other options, but that involves quite a bit of gas and time, and some of those are 2-day tests, and that's quite a burden for some of our students.
Well, and thinking about ways to reduce barriers for women. I think that's why it's always important for our grantee partners to be aware of the opportunities and opportunities for collaboration, to utilize resources. For us, we're always wanting to leverage the resources that people have invested with the foundation. And so I was really excited to know that you two, your organizations, were working together so that students who you've tested and tutored, or prepared with tutoring, are now, some have been sent to Collierville Literacy Council in order to take their actual test.
Absolutely. I would venture to guess most of the ones you've had recently have been ours. We've been sending a lot of them over there. But it is a challenge for us because there are limited testing sites and availability, especially for the Spanish GED test takers. So we are challenged. We send a lot of our students over to Collierville for testing, and we try to reciprocate that, of course, by taking students that maybe they're not able to work with. We are able to work with women who test at below an 8th grade reading level, and some of the other agencies are not able to do that. And so a lot of times we get referrals that way. But we do have a specific case where we've worked together with a student who had some special needs, and it has been a very heartwarming experience for both of our organizations, I think.
So it was someone that you referred to DeNeuville?
Yes, she and her mother first came in, and the young lady has cerebral palsy pretty severely. And so something like taking the GED test and sitting and reading and turning pages and all of those things were really going to be a challenge. And she needed some instruction in some areas too. And we offer tutoring generally one time a week for students. And we realized she really needed something more frequently than that. And so our literacy coordinator called and talked to, I don't know if it was you she talked to.
She actually did talk to me, yes.
And they had a instructor, I guess. And it's been wonderful because we were concerned. This girl was very smart, and we wanted her to be able to get the GED under her belt and go to the next level.
Absolutely. She's special, and she's very committed, and her mother's very committed, and that really goes a long way in working with a student. And so we had an instructor who was excited about the opportunity and has just been completely enamored by the experience, and has told me several times that she really has been able to get more motivation and probably has learned more from this experience than she's actually giving. So
that's wonderful.
It is. It's a very special
so
situation.
Having those multiple days of instruction, which you're able to provide.
Yes.
So that's really where it's so great to see that type of partnership develop, and that you're reciprocating what are needed as far as services.
Absolutely.
Identifying the needs of women, and many times most of the time they're low-income women who have many challenges and barriers to success. But I'm really excited to see that you guys are working in the synergy of really helping these women get on track.
Absolutely.
It's very important to us, very important to us. So tell me what you feel has been one of the greatest successes in providing this additional instruction for women who are needing to obtain their GED and start this track of what their career development will be.
I would say we have so many success stories, and just our students are truly amazing and my constant source of motivation and energy. I would say one of our best recent success stories is one of our current board members actually started out many years ago as a student of ours in our GED program, and I think struggled at first when she came into the program, and stuck with it and really turned her life around and was able to get a great job at one of the local hospitals and worked her way up into a management position, and now is one of our most dedicated and wonderful board members. And to go from being a student at the organization to now being a board member, it's pretty special. And then we also have a teacher, one of our teachers, as a matter of fact, our GED Spanish teacher, who started out as a student as well, and went through the process very successfully, and she now has an amazing success rate with her students. We have recently for Spanish GED students that passed in the last month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're pretty proud of that program, and we are one of the few that offer the GED program in Spanish as well.
So if people want to find out more about DeNeuville Learning Center,
Yes.
what is your website and phone number so that people will know where to find you? And
Absolutely. Our phone number is 726-5902, and our website is a mouthful, but it's DeNeuvilleCenter.org.
Okay, and they can go on the website and find out information about classes.
Yes.
And if people are interested in volunteering, do you have volunteer opportunities?
We do. We rely very, very much on volunteer support, as most organizations do. We're always needing volunteers. So visiting our website, giving us a call. If someone's wanting to donate their time, we will find a spot for them.
Well, wonderful. And so, Karen, I know that you all have many successes about women and being able to take that test and then the gratification they feel in that accomplishment and success and where it's going to lead them.
Yes.
Is there a success story that you'd like to share with us about one of your students?
Well, since the short period of the grant cycle, we haven't been able to see the long range changes with people, but there's one student in particular that kind of, some just kind of tug at your heart more than others. And she was just so open and outgoing, and she came to us. She had taken the test, but she needed to still pass, I think, 2 subjects. And so we were going to help her with those subjects. She's about 42, 43. She had a daughter who's, I don't know, maybe 20 or so. And I don't remember the reasons that she told for why she had never finished high school, but she was kind of like, this is my time now, I'm going to do this. And she worked so hard, and she was just so positive all the time. And she passed the test. And one of our most fun days is when we get the test results back,
Yes.
the scores, and we get to make the calls.
Yeah.
And just the screaming that you can hear on the other end of the line. People are just so excited because that they've achieved the goal, but sometimes it's also very heartwarming to them that there are organizations where there are individuals that they can tell care about helping them get to that next goal that they have. And she wants to become a nurse, so now she can go on and do the next thing.
What is your website so that people can learn about if they're needing to get their testing done for GED, your website and your phone number?
Our website is www.colliervilleliteracy.org. Our phone number is 854-0288.
And how many times a year can folks take the actual test, GED test?
They can only take an individual subject area 3 times total within 2013.
Okay. And are they coming to your Collierville Center to take their test when they're...
It's not actually at our office. We hold the test at the University of Memphis Carrier campus.
Okay, wonderful.
They've been very generous over the years, letting us use their large room.
So if people were worried about having to come all the way to Collierville to take the test, it's centrally located in that they're testing actually at the University of Memphis site, which is that Getwell?
No, they're not at that site. They're at the University of Memphis. The Carrier campus is in Collierville.
Oh, it is in Collierville, okay.
But it's easier access than our office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful.
It's just off the highway.
Well, I think for me it is learning about the challenges that women have, and we identify those with working with your organizations. We're proud that we're able to fund organizations like yours to really help women move towards that path of economic security and the sense of accomplishment that women receive in getting their GED, and then what it means to their ability to earn a living wage, take care of themselves, take care of their families. It's a huge accomplishment.
Absolutely.
And I've seen on the women places, not with you, Karen, but at DeNeuville, I've attended a graduation. And so those women are so proud.
Yes.
And you feel so proud
Yes.
for them that this really is for them sometimes the first time they've been able to accomplish something, and they invite their family and their friends.
And I'm sorry, they really want to set that good example for their daughters and children too. That's part of their motivation.
I think it's more even motivation for us.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I completely agree, yes.
To be able to provide that kind of...
And it's not easy. Obtaining a GED is not easy. I think a lot of people overlook that. That is not an easy process. It's not an easy test. It's a lot of our women have additional challenges and obstacles, and so that's something I always want to make sure everybody understands. It is not an easy thing that these women are doing and achieving.
It isn't. And you know, we think about the things that we now. I think about things I try to multitask on a daily basis, but having the challenge of, you know, you have your families to take care of, you have transportation barriers often, and it is, you know, it's really survival for many of the women that are served by our programs. And so that they are motivated to take the next step to move towards making their lives better, and even making their lives better for them, for their children. It's motivation for me every day when I get out of bed.
Yes.
Absolutely.
To get out of bed and say, I am so committed to helping these women who are very committed to helping themselves.
Absolutely, and that's what it's all about.
It really is. It really is. So if there was one thing that you wanted to say about DeNeuville Learning Center so that people know what you do and how committed you are to helping women, what would that be?
I would say that truly we live and breathe by our mission, which is to provide empowerment for women to improve their lives for themselves and their families. And we do that through education and community, and we would not be able to do that without the funding and the support that we receive from the Women's Foundation. So I want to extend a very heartfelt thank you.
We're very excited to be partners with you in this work.
Absolutely.
And Karen, if there was anything that you wanted to say about how women are being served by your program and the benefit, tell me what that would be.
I think I would tell anyone who was hesitating to make that first move, the phone call, we're very kind. What we care about is the student walking in the door, and they are not a number. We look at each student as an individual and work with them on an individual basis. Everything we possibly can to help them achieve the goal that they want to achieve.
Well, success is what we want for these women, for them and for their children, so that we're breaking this intergenerational poverty. We want women to be able to feel very confident that their children will have a better station in life than they had. And it's programs like yours that help us to do that. So I'm, so very grateful that you both decided to join me here tonight. Thank you for your time. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your commitment to this community and helping women improve themselves and the lives of their children. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you for all of your help for our program.
Oh, you're welcome.
And for giving us this opportunity. It is all about awareness, so thank you very much for that.
It is about awareness, and I'm hopeful that some of our donors that are watching tonight understand that we have the high going on right now, that they can give and they will have twice the impact. So anyone who has not given before, if you give $1, it makes it $2. So thank you to all of our guests who came and joined us tonight, and for the work that you're doing. So we just kind of keep talking,
Okay.
and
just make it look like we're having a blast.